Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are taking a look at the Montreal Canadiens owner Geoff Molson coming out, and he kind of had some interesting things to say about a potentially revitalizing a rivalry up there in Quebec, maybe bringing back the Nordiques. We're going to take a look at that today. So this is kind of interesting, as apparently this is from something that Geoff Molson had told Gary Bettman a couple of months ago. He said that the Canadiens owner, Geoff Molson, has told Gary Bettman he supports the idea of an NHL team returning to Quebec City. Now, I know a lot of Habs fans, and of course the Nordique fans out there will be freaking out, because listen, we've seen the revitalization of the Quebec jersey in Colorado and in other places, but let's be honest, we want to see the Nordiques back. That's what this is all about. And I think this is a really interesting development, because if the Habs, now you have to remember, well, you might be saying to yourself, well, what does the Habs owner have anything to do with this? Well, it's actually funny enough, in New York with the Islanders, you know who helped fund the UBS Arena? The Rangers. The Rangers ownership and MSG helped the Islanders fund that arena. Which, if that's not talking about some kind of rivalry in there, that the rivalry is good for the sport and for the city. And I think that's how Geoff Molson's looking at the Nordiques, not as necessarily a team we're going to compete against, but oh man, just think about that first game at the Bell Center between the Nordiques and the Habs. Oh my goodness. Like, people have been waiting their lifetime for that game. That is going to be very, very exciting to watch for. So this is something to watch as we get closer to that time, when we talk about expansion again, and Seattle came in. But listen, as soon as Vegas came in, Seattle was coming in not too far after. So now that they've got Seattle in the league for now their second year, you have to be wondering, the clock's ticking. Is the NHL considering expanding once again? Now, again, there's going to be a little bit more involved, because the expectation is, if they can move a team to the Eastern and Western Conference, they want even conferences. So that would mean that they would have to put one team in the East, one team in the West. So you would presume Houston and Quebec, probably coming in within 2 or 3 years of each other. They don't want to do the expansion draft with two teams at the same time. They don't want to do that anymore. That's back in the 2000s and the 90s. We're not going to see that again. So in this scenario, we're looking at a spot where it would probably be one team every 3 or 4 years. And that's kind of what we've seen for the pattern now with Seattle and Vegas coming in, right? And that's what I would expect here with Quebec and Houston. So keep an eye on this, because this is an interesting storyline we may look back on. Don't forget also, there's the Islanders actually had to pay the Rangers this tax when they came to the NHL. You have to pay a certain amount of money to the other NHL franchise in order to be within that vicinity, and they need to accept that. They need to sign off on within a 25-mile radius that you can play here. And that's exactly the case here for the Habs and the Nordiques. So they would have to figure that out as well. I don't think it would be that hard to do, but it is something that needs to get filed, and it sounds like the Habs ownership is more than okay with, which I think is very interesting. So guys, let me know what you think down below. Would you like to see the Quebec Nordiques return, or do you like them maybe being dormant and no longer in the NHL? Let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.